In this video tutorial for GrandPrix Race Manager, we will cover Step 1, which is to create a race data file. We will also cover the other data file features that the software offers. This tutorial is using version 22 of the software. However, this step applies to all versions of GrandPrix Race Manager. So, what is a data file, and what is a data file used for? A data file is simply a container. It serves as a place to hold all of your race data. All of your racers, schedules, race results, standings, and awards data will be stored in a data file. For each new race event that you hold, you will create a brand new data file to store the data for it. To create a data file, go to the Overview tab of the main screen and click on the shortcut button for Step 1. In the Create a New Race Data File screen, you can select the folder where you want the data file to be created and what the file's name will be. When naming a data file, we do recommend that you include the year in the file name. That makes it easier if you want to go back and look at data for a past race. The software will suggest a file name, but you can change that file name to suit your preference. For this demonstration, I am going to name the new file 2022 race. The file extension for all data files will be SQLite. Note, starting with version 16, only SQLite data files are supported by this software. You can choose to locate the data file in the default data folder, or you can select some other folder. The default location is the Documents, Lozano Enterprises, GrandPrix Race Manager, Data folder. If you are using our Derby Web add-on software, you would create the data file in Derby Web's data folder. Now, click on the Save button to create the new data file. This nag screen indicates that the data file has been opened and is now in use by the software. If you don't wish to see this nag screen in the future, you can click on the checkbox in the lower left corner of that screen. Now that a new data file has been created, if you look down at the bottom of the main screen, the status bar will indicate the new data file. Now, if you look back at Step 1 on the Overview tab, the completed checkbox has been checked for you. I am actually going to create a second data file. I will click on the shortcut button for Step 1 again. I am going to name this one 2022 Test and save it. Now, I have a data file that I can use to run some mock races with, and one to actually run my race with. Once I have completed my testing, using my test data file, I don't need to worry about deleting out any data. I will simply open up the data file that I had created for running the race. That's all there is to creating a new data file. The software does have other data file features available, which we will review. To access those, click on the Data File button on the main toolbar. The first one is the New option. Instead of creating a new data file from the shortcut button on the Overview tab, you can create one with this option. The Open option allows you to switch to some other data file that you have on hand. To do that, click on the Open option. Select the file that you want to open, and then click on the Open button. The software will open that data file, and you will see that file listed down on the status bar as the data file that is currently in use. The other way to open an existing data file is to go to the Recent Files option and click on the desired file name from the list. The Save As option allows you to make an exact copy of the data file that you are currently using. To do so, click on the Save As option, name the file and then click on the Save button. The file has been copied, and the copy is now in use by the software. You can see that indicated down in the status bar. The Backup option allows you to make a backup copy of the data file that you are currently using. You may choose to make a backup before you delete out data, or before you otherwise make a big change to your data. To make a backup copy, select the Backup option. If you look at the folder that houses your data files, you will see a new file has been added. The date and time will have been added to the file name for reference. Once you make a backup copy, the software will continue to use the original data file. The last data file feature that we will cover in this video is where you can merge the data from two different data files into a single data file. This can be helpful if you break your race up into multiple data files. To merge two data files together, select the Merge option. Select the first data file by clicking on the Browse button for Source Data File 1. Select the desired file and click on the Open button. Do the same for Source Data File 2. Now, you will designate a destination data file, which is a new data file that all of the data from the two designated data files will be merged into. Click on the Save To button. Give that file a name and click on the Save button. To complete the merge, click on the Merge button. The data from the two data files will then be combined into the destination data file, and that file will then be opened up for use. Your original two data files will remain unchanged. In this tutorial video, we covered what a race data file was, how to create one, as well as the different data file options that the software has to offer. There are a couple of things to note with data files. The first is that, when you shut down the software, it will remember the data file that you were using. When you start the software back up, it will automatically open up that last used data file. Secondly, the vast majority of software settings are not saved to the data file, so you can freely change to a different data file without having to reselect most of your chosen settings. This completes our tutorial video on Step 1, to create a race data file. Stay tuned for our video for Step 2, where we will cover the software settings.